It's Cricbuzz live again, and two teams are at a venue that has, in a sense, is responsible for the takeoff of T20 cricket in India, for India. 23rd September 2007, all of us know what that date did to not just T20s, but the other formats in India as well. You're watching Cricbuzz live. Zaheer Khan and Parthiv Patel in the house. It's a must-win for India, but they play at a venue, Zach, that is considered intimidating. I've never had the chance to be there. You've been there. Won a test match for India in 2006 as well with 5 wickets. Is it really intimidating? If yes, why?
Well, India has got a great record there in this venue, so I don't think India should be intimidated. In fact, they'll be looking forward to play on this venue because they've won a lot of games of cricket on this venue, different formats. So I think everyone will be up for the challenge. It's a high altitude venue, so that's why you see a lot of runs being scored also. But as a bowler, also you have a good chance of swinging the ball. So that is something which you have to wait and see. There's always a good bounce and pace in South African pitches, so that goes without saying. But high altitude, you have to adjust your breathing also according to how the conditions are going to be, because at times you feel third, fourth delivery in the first couple of overs, you'll feel that you are out of breath because just a different rhythm, as it's a very high altitude ground.
Wow, that's the first time I've heard that kind of an insight about this venue. Parthiv, you've played there as well.
Yeah, and we also won a test match in 2018. That's when Zach spoke about that pace and bounce on that wicket. It was absolute green top when India played with 5 fast bowlers there, and actually at one point of time wicket became so dangerous that play had to be suspended and they started on next day. Then India won that test match, though India had lost that series, but it was like a proper green top South African wicket. And that's when that's first time where I had opened in the second inning where Rabada and everyone was bowling quite quick there. But it's a wonderful venue to play cricket. It has its own style. That walk through the tunnel is something which is, you don't see that too often in world cricket, but it's a great ground to play with.
Right, and I suppose the groundsmen or the groundspersons at the venue knew the kind of colors that Zach and PP were wearing today. So matching these two's brown is the color of the wicket as well. We got a glimpse of it before entering the studio. The news from the centre is that South Africa have won the toss and once again chosen to field first. And that means India will have the challenge of putting a score on the board. It's happened in 2007 as well. India with runs on the board. Went on to win that World Cup. But it's a match that India has to win once again. The first one was washed out. South Africa won the second one by 5 wickets with DLS as well. In a must-win game, Zach, you and Parthiv have spoken about template and the brand of T20 cricket India should look to play. Do they make the result of this third T20 irrelevant and say, listen, we're going to back our brand? Or do they say, no, we've got to win this series, and so maybe make that tweak, that slight tweak, perhaps curb that natural instinct as well? What do they do today?
Well, whatever you do, you got to win games of cricket. That goes without saying. So looking at this game, it's going to be a good pressure game for the Indian team because they're behind in the series. You have to win this game to level the series, and it always gets you going. You've seen with the Indian cricket team, they've been very consistent with big games. More often than not, you'll see in bilateral series, they've come up with good performances in crunch games. So today is another day for them to just go out there. There are a lot of new faces also in this squad. So for them, it will be a good exposure to that kind of a pressure. And looking at how team has been doing in the past, they'll have to take the confidence there on the field and look to level the series.
Right, now, if you look at India's record in bilateral series, India pretty much do very well in bilateral series. We won't go to World Cups for now, but just that one series loss against the West Indies, which was earlier this year, that apart, India have done pretty well in bilaterals. But here it's an opportunity, right? Without the big boys that win big games, this young team has yet another opportunity to to continue that run of wins.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is another opportunity for all these youngsters to, play the brand of cricket which India wants to play. Surya Kumar Yadav, yeah, even after the last game, he said we want to play a fearless brand of cricket. We want to play attacking brand of cricket. And here is the game where, if you lose a game, you lose a series. But if you win a game, you tie the series. And that's where how these young players are playing. Are they sticking to that approach in a must-win game? It'll be interesting to see. But having said that, we've seen all these young players. We've seen how Yashasvi Jaiswal plays, irrespective of a game where it is must-win or not. But I feel that India is going to stick to that brand of cricket. And if they stick to their brand of cricket, you follow your processes, then results take care of by itself. You don't have to worry about that result. So I think India would be thinking that we have our plans. Let's just follow our plans, and result is the byproduct of whatever we do.
Lots of runs on this pitch is what history suggests. An average of 12 sixes per match. On the Cricbuzz commentary app, it says the boundary lengths are not too big. 59 on one side, 69 square as well. 77 meters straight boundaries. Surya Kumar Yadav did say that we wanted to put the runs on the board and defend well. So the toss shouldn't matter so much, should it?
Well, you've got to play good cricket over 40 overs. That's how you look at these kind of games. The pitch doesn't really change much in 40 overs. You've seen that. Unless there is some rain effect or some dew effect, all those kind of factors, they come in, and then at times it tilts on one side. But barring that, you got to play good cricket. No matter what the conditions, the situations bring to you on that particular day, you have to find ways, and you got to be ready. So I think from Surya's team today, he'll be expecting that. He'll be expecting that the positive body language, positive approach, and that belief is something which you will definitely be watching very keenly. And if you are able to focus on the process, like how Parthiv was saying, then the result takes care of itself.
What the captain has said is pretty much, in fact, on the dot in sync with what Zaheer Khan has said. And to quote Surya, he said, that's the brand we want to play. Guys want to be fearless. Lots of positives from the last game. No changes in the Indian 11 for this must-win 3/30/20 international. No Ravi Bishnoi. Arshdeep Singh gets another go. How do you read this?
I think that it is just showing that India wants to give these players chance. It's not that, it is very difficult for anyone to just give one game and drop them out of the playing 11. That's how I think this think tank is going along. So probably this is the series where they'll give this 11 will play because of the first game that got washed out. There are only 2 games. Maybe once we go to Afghanistan series, you might see different players getting different chances. But here, this Indian team has most of it. We've seen it is all about continuity.
Yeah.
We've seen that how Rahul Dravid has thought about their one-day 11 also. So I think it is India is sticking to that continuity, and that is the reason why you don't see any changes in this lineup.
Bishnoi would have been spoken to, I suppose, and clearly if it's not just this series but a larger 6-8 month plan, which I'm sure players in the mix would be aware of, and therefore Bishnoi wouldn't be too hurt by not being picked despite having taken wickets against that last series.
I think communication is going to be the key. You look at the pool of players which we are talking about. They're definitely not 15 or 18 players they're looking at for World Cup. There are definitely more players which they will be having conversations with. So keeping that in mind, I think there is still a lot of answers which they're looking at. The selectors, the team management, the think tank, they're still finding those answers. And that's why you're seeing they've stuck with the same squad, because they still want to see how Kuldeep goes on about doing his business, how Arshdeep comes back from a tough game. So that left arm angle, who's someone who's been playing regularly, has been among one of the, I think, top wicket takers for the Indian team in this format now in the recent past. So they want to be giving these guys fair chance before they take that final decision.
Would have been unfair on Kuldeep as well, isn't it? With that wet ball in a shortened game. Unfair to judge a player on the basis of those 2-3 overs.
I mean, you can't judge a player by just one game. And especially someone like Kuldeep, you don't have anything to judge from. He's been around for so many years. And it's not about, just whether he's on that selection trial kind of a thing. It's just about, giving them that games. He's had a wonderful IPL. He's done really well in 50 over World Cup. Here, I'm again saying it. It's very, very difficult. And it is 100% unfair on any player to just give them one opportunity. So I think maybe Bishnoi, yes, he did really well here. Now this series is for Kuldeep, so probably that is the reason why. And then as Zach said, the communication is something which is very, very important. How and what they are talking to each and every player, and I think it is fair to give them another opportunity.
South Africa, meanwhile, have made 3 changes. 2 we expected, but there's another one. Donovan Ferreira, Keshav Maharaj and Nandre Berger. So, well, 2 we were aware of, but the fact that they brought Keshav Maharaj in, what does it say to you? How do you read this Keshav Maharaj move?
Well, we were expecting that, isn't it? We did the preview the other day after the game, and we were talking about these possible changes. Donovan Ferreira is a surprise. We were not expecting that. But
He's coming for Tristan Stubbs.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the other bowlers were expected changes on the lines.
Yeah.
So Keshav Maharaj is someone who can contribute with the ball also, with the bat also, and in this format that helps. His numbers are very good. And you've seen in the World Cup also he was playing a very vital role for the team, a regular candidate in this South Africa's scheme of things. So looking at that, I think this change might be to do with the conditions also, because that pitch was looking a little bit on the brown side, and when there is that tinge of brown in the surface, there's not a lot of grass, so there might be some help on offer. And that's why they've decided to go in with 2 spinners with Markram to support.
And on this pitch, I think it'll be a challenge for Keshav Maharaj also. If you look at this India's playing 11, you've got Yashasvi Jaiswal, you've got Tilak Verma, you've got Rinku Singh, and you've got Ravindra Jadeja. So there will definitely be a lefty batting at every point of time. At full 20 overs, there will be a lefty batter batting. So I think he did really well against India. Just gave 30 runs in that 10 overs. But it was very helpful wicket. There were 2 right-handers batting. So for him, this will be a great challenge, and this is, as we said, that this is a 6-hitting ground. So I'm sure batters would be hoping to eye that shorter boundary and try and hit 6s against this spin.
Slightly different challenge, maybe a tougher challenge for someone like Tabraiz Shamsi, player of the match in that last match, 4 overs, gave away just 18 runs, took that very important wicket of Surya Kumar Yadav as well. Good variety in the South African lineup with Shamsi and Keshav Maharaj, 2 very different kinds of bowlers. But on a pitch like this, at a venue like this, should this man's approach change, or should he continue to maybe bowl with a certain attacking, wicket-taking mindset?
Well, I think he'll take the confidence forward from the previous game. When you're playing against a good team, a strong batting lineup, you are always going to be under pressure. But when you come up with a good spell against that kind of batting lineup, that definitely gives you that confidence to go and figure out and back your plans. I think what Shamsi will be looking to do is having a similar kind of approach. He'll be feeling very upbeat that he has done so well in the previous game. If there's a little bit of help on offer, I'm sure he will come up with another good spell.
Do India attack him, or do they play him with a little bit of caution?
I don't think India has to play with any kind of caution. I mean, the best way to attack a player is best way to defense is attack. Especially when you have the players trying to get those wickets. And Tabraiz Shamsi has come up with a different line and length this time around. When he was playing that 50 over, he was predominantly bowling on middle leg line. Here, if you look at him, he was bowling outside the off stump. Even last game, where Surya's dismissal, it was outside the off stump. Surya was trying to go over cover where he got him out. But yeah, I mean, see, he's kind of bowler will give you loose balls, and we've seen him every time he's been put under pressure. He goes on a defensive line very quickly. So for me, I think it's best way we are playing a T20 game. Why do we have to give them any kind of respect? You have to just go out there and back yourself, back your skills, and play those shots.
We've got to talk a bit about the Indian bowling as well, because India have gone an unchanged. Ardeep Singh gets another game as well. Now, he made his India debut in July last year. Now, and his first 5 games yielded 9 wickets at an economy of about 6, I think it was. Thereafter, he's been very hot or very cold, very on and off. So, Zach, for you, is it a skill issue? Is it something that's happening between the 2 ears? If yes, how does he address it? If no, what else is the issue with Ardeep Singh?
Well, I think right now the kind of swing which we've seen from his bowling, which if you look at the degree of the swing right now, maybe it's missing. So now that definitely put you under pressure. When you're playing constantly at the highest level, if you have something missing, you don't have the time also to change that much. Maybe it's about spending that much more time in the nets, figuring things out, getting that rhythm back. But Arshdeep for sure has looked little off color. And the reason for that is the swing which we've seen from him, especially the other day also Parthiv was trying to mention that the ball coming back into the right-hander or when the left-hander is batting, that big swing, that really sets you up and creates that doubt in the batter's mind, and that has been his strength. I think with the new ball, that is something which is missing, so he's been put under pressure because of that, and that's why he's quickly going around the wicket and trying to just find some different angle and create that doubt in batter's mind. But what he needs to go back to is go back to his own strength, which has been swing. He's been his success formula at the highest level has been with the swing, the ball coming back into the right-hander, then the ball going away, and then batters making those guesses, which gives him that edge over batters. Right now, because of that swing is not been there at that degree, he's finding himself under pressure going in the games.
Is the message for himself, is he the message to self, is it about, I struggle in the death overs, maybe I should be kept away from the
He's not struggling in death overs. I mean, we saw last game and against Australia where it was only 10 runs needed, bowling in Bangalore against a set batter, and he gave only 3 runs. So there are most of the times he has bowled at last over. He has been bowling those difficult overs in IPL for Punjab as well. He has bowled so many times. He's bowled at 19th or 20th over, and he has been successful. So I mean, yes, of course, there is something which I'd spoken, and Zach's also now put a stamp to it, that swing, that's something which is missing. And once he gets that, he'll be a different bowler. But yeah, see, when you're bowling in slog overs, it is very difficult, especially last game where the ball was there, ball was in the wet, he couldn't get it right. There were a couple of edges where went in first couple of overs, so you're always under pressure. And when your main thing is not happening, which is swing, that's when you try and drift away from your own strength, and that's where I think is getting a hit for more runs.
In an era where there is all players are playing all kinds of cricket at all times, time away is a bit of a luxury that very few players will have. Is that something that you'd recommend, time away from competitive cricket, work on that aspect and come back, or is that unrealistic?
Not time away. It's just getting in the nets and bowling enough number of deliveries, and maybe getting cues from the videos. There's enough help around these days. You look at the squad, and you look at the support staff outside of it. There are enough people to help you. It's just about figuring exactly what is needed and then going on and doing that, which means that even if the team is taking an off day, you get hold of someone, ask the bowling coach or ask someone from the support staff saying that, okay, help me around, let's go to the nets and figure that. You got to do that, and that's how that's what matters. You got to do whatever it takes to get you in that zone of peak performance. If you are lagging behind, then you got to do whatever it takes. Which means that even if there is one day in between the games, that shouldn't matter to you. If it means even if you're going to be tired, it's fine. If you don't perform, the pressure is going to just keep on building more and more, which might cost you a place also in the side because of the competition you see. There are so many people around which are just going to be constantly pushing you. So at the highest level, you got to stay on top of your game and do whatever it takes. Yeah. And the other people are constantly going to push you.
Even on non-match days, it's a stats team at Cricbuzz that keeps looking at all kinds of stories, and they've pulled out a number on Mukesh Kumar. Still very early days in his career now. The number of no balls is a story maybe, and in the 10 matches he's played so far, he's bowled 6. Now look at the number of no balls Jasprit Bumrah has bowled in the 80 matches that he's played. Unfair to compare, I suppose. But can this number be attributed to early career excitement where you tend to sort of push yourself harder? Is that what these numbers can be attributed to? Were you trying too hard at the start of your career?
Yeah, at times you will be bowling no balls. You will be faltering, So that's something, those errors are going to creep in. You can't be too harsh on yourself, but you still got to figure out a way of dealing with that. Because you often speak about, especially in the T20 format, wides is something which sometimes tactically you plan, and in the process of bowling the tram line, in the process of bowling to a certain batter in certain areas, you end up giving those wides, and that's acceptable. But no balls is something which is always in your control. So that if you're going ahead on the crease, that is something which shouldn't be acceptable. And for that, at times, what happens when you're running in too hard, your stride length becomes longer. That is generally the case. And then because of that, because of the pressure, you call it whatever, but once the stride length is increased, you are going to overstep. And if you're overstepping, I always used to tell all the bowlers, and do it myself also, that when you're feeling that pressure, if you lift your knees higher while running, your stride length is always going to be shorter. So that is it's just the anxiety, just the pressure which is going to make you do that, and you want to put in more effort. So you just got to be just lifting those knees a little higher. It's naturally going to reduce that stride length, which you might go way behind in the crease at times, which you've seen with some bowlers, that they prefer bowling from the middle of the crease, and they don't even like to touch that front line, just to be sure. Because that much more pressure when you're bowling that new delivery. So I think these are the things you can try for sure to come on top.
How conscious are bowlers in the nets? Every time I go to a ground, I look at what they're doing in the nets, and I try to maybe read a few things here and there. Are bowlers very conscious of not overstepping? Because we've seen bowlers really overstepping in the nets.
Yeah, at times they are not, and me included in that. So I'm not going to be going on saying that no, you should never bowl a no ball in the nets. At times it happens. For me, it was always a challenge to bowl in the nets. I would overstep, but in the match situation scenario, and also I used to struggle because there are so many bowlers bowling in the nets, and you have their different markings there marked up. At times it gets confusing, and because of that, you end up overstepping. In a match scenario situation, it should be controllable. Having said that, you have to figure out your own way. In spite of doing everything, at times you will end up bowling no ball. So you can't be too harsh. You got to keep that percentage down as low as possible. Looking at Bumrah's percentage also in that, you're looking at 80 games, 8 no balls. So every
10 is just
every 10 game he's doing maybe overstepping once. Not a bad place to be in.
Yeah, I think Zach just spoke about Bumrah. I've seen him in nets. All this, he's learned it the hard way. Remember the Champions Trophy final where he bowled it no ball and Fakhar Zaman got that 100. But after that, whenever I've seen him in nets, he has not bowled a no ball. He's been very conscious, and even if he's speaking to other young bowlers, he's been telling them, you have to do it here. And every great bowler I've said, whatever you do in practice, you try, that happens in the game. So you have to do it here, and I'm sure, I know that I've seen Jasprit Bumrah has worked on that number. So those 8 no balls would have been like in first 20 or 30 games. After that, I don't remember Jasprit Bumrah bowling that kind of that number of no balls, even in IPL also. So you have to, in practices, you have to work on that.
Wow, some fascinating insights on no balls and on Arshdeep Singh as well. Bumrah is clearly a great reference point for the current young generation bowlers. And Bumrah is being missed by a lot of us fans as well. Have been sending in questions about Bumrah. Here's our hashtag Ask Cricbuzz live question. Referring to Bumrah, it says, this one's from Aditya Bhandarkar. With no Bumrah or Shami to lead India's pace attack, our pacers have leaked 721 runs in 68 overs at 10.6 in 60 T20 internationals. Doesn't give me much confidence. At the T20 World Cup, fair to say that Bumrah and especially Shami need to be brought back in. All yours, sir.
Well, we'll have to see which direction the selectors are. There are, like we're saying, for this World Cup, we don't know exactly which direction selectors are going in, the team management are thinking in. They've still not announced the captain also, who is going to be the captain taking the team to the World Cup. So there are a lot of, I think, lot of uncertainty around. It depends on which direction you take. Any direction is going to be a good direction, like I've always been saying. You need to find the gaps. You need to find the kind of template which you want to play with. If you're looking at setting that tone, if you're looking at using the pacer with the new ball, then obviously Shami is the best possible guy going around, with his wicket-taking ability. And you look at, you want to use Bumrah aggressively and use him in the power play as well, and not just look at the back end. Then that also changes it. So Bumrah, Shami, and then you have to think of someone who can take the load in the back end of the innings. There are many ways you can stack up the squad. We just have to wait and see what is going to be the thought process by the guys involved.
Right. I've got a few numbers on Shubman Gill as well. In case you've just joined us, South Africa won the toss and they've chosen to bowl first. India, of course, batting first. There are a few numbers on Shubman Gill. And I will let Parthiv Patel read those numbers and assess those numbers and tell us how he reads them. What's the story here? Gill's hot and cold template in 2023. All yours, Parthiv.
See, all these numbers you see are before IPL numbers. But one thing is definitely there. Every time he gets in, he gets a big one. There you can see a 77, you can see 126, and those the 36, 46 of 36 balls were not the easiest Rajkot wicket where they were playing against Sri Lanka. But after that, post this, the way Shubman Gill has batted in IPL, and his strike rate also has gone up. And most of the time we talk about that if you want your strike rate to go up, you have to hit boundaries. But that has not happened with Shubman Gill. What Shubman Gill has done is he has reduced his dot balls. He's still hitting same number of boundaries, same number of sixes, but he has reduced his dot balls, and that is the reason why he's playing longer innings in IPL. We've not seen him for last game. He just got out, and we saw orange cap also. So those numbers actually doesn't reflect the way Shubman Gill is batting right now. And probably once he plays a couple of T20s against Afghanistan and IPL, I think we'll definitely see a different Shubman Gill, or not all these numbers will matter that much then.
Have you seen an upgrade in this Shubman Gill software in this 2023? It's been a stellar year for him largely.
Yeah, he's had a great run in this last 2023. Still going on, few matches to go. But I think what stands out for me is that every time he's in, he makes it big and makes it count. So that is something which is a great quality to have as a batter. And it's just about replicating it. It's still early days for him. So he's going to figure out that formula for himself of repeating it with a shorter gaps. Yeah. So once he's able to do that, he's definitely going to be changing all these numbers what you're putting out there. In spite of whatever numbers you're showing, it's still good numbers, and it's very striking that every time he is in, he's gonna make it count and score big.
Yes, if he stays long, then God save the bowlers. We got to talk about India's wicket-keeper batter conundrum. Is it a conundrum? I'm not sure. I'll let Parthiv Patel tell us. There are 4 names. Jitesh Sharma is the designated wicket-keeper batter in this one. Rishabh Pant, we've been told, will be in action at the IPL as well. Now, the news that's just come in is that KL Rahul will be batting at 5 in the IPL for LSG. Ishan Kishan's always around. 4 options. How does India look at this wicketkeeper batter question mark?
Again, it comes down to what kind of team which India wants to play with, what kind of combination India wants to go with. Do they want the wicketkeeper to bat in top order? Then you've got Ishan Kishan, your choice. But if you want your wicketkeeper to bat at number 4, 5, 6, then it'll be Jitesh Sharma, KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant if he has a good IPL. Sanju Samson also might come into the fray after that IPL. So I think it all comes down to, again, the combination and the template which India wants to go with. So it'll be very difficult to just say that, whether it'll be Jitesh Sharma or Ishan Kishan or KL Rahul. But one thing which is for sure that if KL Rahul is batting at number 5 in IPL, that means he's been spoken to. Otherwise, for LSG, he has batted really well in opening. We've seen how well he has batted as an opener in T20 format. But now that he's batting at number 5, so that could be a sign that India is looking at a wicketkeeper who's batting at number 5, 6.
Right. More will be spoken about Jitesh Sharma, and all eyes on him as well. He didn't have a great last game, went for that big shot, got out early. For now, though, we will move to Joy Factor. What's today's question? I've been told it's a question that you can crack easily. What specifically connects Mohinder Amarnath, Aravinda De Silva, Shane Warne, and a current Australian cricketer? Man of the match in a World Cup final?
It was very easy.
I think that is it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
unless it's a googly, and Joy Bhattacharya is known to throw these tricky ones at us. You've got 3 hours to crack this one, and we shall reveal the answer at the end of this game in our post-game show. Quick prediction: India batting first. Beginning
180?
190, okay?
180.
180, sorry.
I'm going 200. Just Joe Buck, flat wicket. 200.
Okay, I'll play safe between these two. 190. Nice and safe. You guys can make your predictions and send them to us on Twitter as well. We're done with Cricbuzz Live for now. Enjoy the game. Shubman Gill Yashasvi will be out to bat in just a bit. And make sure you join us at the end of the 10 over mark on Cricbuzz Combox. Bye for now.